Good evening, students. Today we are going to discuss about the topic coagulation. So, if you take milk in some glass, so if you add lemon water, so for example, if you add lemon juice to the milk solution, so milk is a milk is a colloidal solution. So, when you add lemon juice to the milk, what happens? So it will become some curd like, so that is called, so that fluctuation or that precipitation is called coagulation. So coagulation is nothing but it is a destabilization of colloidal solution. So the process of settling of colloidal particles is called coagulation. So the colloidal particles will lose their charge and they will become neutralized and they will settle down. So that is called precipitation or coagulation. So this coagulation or precipitation caused by, so it is maybe due to by electrophoresis process. So by keeping electrodes, that colloidal particles will move to the electrodes and they will be neutralized and they will be precipitated. So that is the one of the way, electrophoresis. And by mixing of oppositely charged salts. So when we add two different charged, for example, this is the positive colloidal salt and this is the negative colloidal solution. So when we add these positive and negative colloidal solutions, so they will be precipitated or coagulated. So the charge will become neutralized. So usually the colloidal solution always contain either positive or negative charge. It is always electrically charged. So when we neutralize that charge, so they will be precipitated or coagulated. That process is called coagulation. And by boiling, sometimes by boiling we can coagulate the colloidal solution, and by adding electrolytes. So electrolytes will contain positive ion and negative ion. For example, sodium chloride, Na plus and Cl minus. So when we add electrolyte to the colloidal solution, so colloidal solution also contain either positive charge or negative charge. So negative ion will be comes with a positive ion. So in electrolyte, if a negative ion adds to this positive colloidal solution, it will become precipitated or coagulated. So by adding electrolytes, the colloidal solution will become destabilized. So that process is called coagulation. The ion which is responsible for the neutralization of charge on the colloidal particles is called coagulating ion. So this ion which is responsible for the coagulation process is called coagulating ion. It is either positive ion or it is negative ion. So let us see Hardy-Schule rule. So this rule is to calculate the coagulating power of coagulating ion. So which ion will be coagulate more? So that power is calculated by using this rule. So this rule states that greater the valency of coagulating ion, greater is its power to cause precipitation. So means if the valency of that ion, coagulating ion will be more, then coagulating power also more. Means coagulating power is directly proportional to valency or charge on the cation or anion. For example, if you see in coagulating of negative sol means negative colloidal solution. In coagulation of negative colloidal solution, so the coagulation power of aluminum plus 3, Na plus and Ba plus 2, barium plus 2 is in the order of, so as here valency increases, then coagulating power also increases. That's why aluminum plus 3 has more coagulating power than barium plus 2 and then Na plus. So this is the coagulating power by Hardy-Schule rule. Next, Another example is coagulation of a positive colloidal solution. So to coagulate positive solution, we should add negative ions. So the power of negative ions, coagulating power of negative ions is in the order of, so this -4 will come before, means high power coagulating power, then -3 and -2 and -1. So means as this valency increases, coagulating power increases. Means this will have more coagulating power. This ion will have more coagulating power than this, and this is the decreasing order. And next, coagulating value. So coagulating value means how much amount of coagulating ion will be added to cause the coagulation. That amount of coagulating ion is called coagulating value. So it is defined as the minimum concentration of electrolyte. So how much amount of electrolyte we are adding in millimoles per liter solution required to cause precipitation of a colloidal solution. So we are taking for example liter colloidal solution. So in that liter colloidal solution, to become coagulation, how much electrolyte is adding in millimoles, that amount is called coagulating value of that coagulating ion. So coagulating value is given by millimoles of electrolyte. So how many millimoles are we are adding by volume of solution in liters. So we are taking the volume of solution 1 liter colloidal solution. So this is a stable colloidal solution, and we are destabilizing the colloidal solution by adding this electrolyte. So how much amount is required to coagulate this 1 liter colloidal solution is called coagulating value. So means coagulating power is inversely proportional to coagulating value. So this concentrate means by adding small amount of coagulate electrolyte, so if we cause coagulation, means that coagulating power is more. So means coagulating power decreases with the coagulating value. Means so how much amount of electrolyte we are adding, that is called coagulating value. So if we require small amount of small amount of electrolyte to cause coagulation, means it has more power to cause the coagulation. So that is the relation between coagulating power and coagulating value. So don't confuse, this is the amount of what we are adding, and this is the capacity. So if we add a small amount, if it causes coagulation, means it has more power. So that is the relation. Next, protection of colloids. So this is the destabilization process, coagulation, and the reverse process. So we are preventing the coagulation by adding lyophilic colloids. That process is called protection. So means we are protecting the colloidal solution by adding some agents. So that agent is called protecting colloid. So let us see lyophilic colloids. So lyophilic colloids means, lyo means solvent and philic means loving. So these are solvent loving colloids. So means they are stable colloids. So we have seen in types of colloids, lyophilic colloids are stable colloids and lyophobic colloids are unstable colloids. So they are not easily prepared, that's why because they are unstable. So to stabilize the lyophobic colloids, so we are adding lyophilic colloids to the lyophobic colloids. So by adding these colloids, this will become stable. This unstable will become stable by adding this. So this is called protecting colloids. So to stabilize lyophobic colloids, so we will add lyophilic colloids that are called, means that prevents the coagulation process. So that is called protecting colloid. So this protecting power expressed in terms of Gold number. So in the same way, coagulating value, here the Gold number is it is calculating protecting power. So this coagulating value calculating the coagulation power. In the same way, protecting power is calculated by Gold number. So Gold number is we are calculating the protecting power of the lyophilic colloid. So how much effective it is, that is calculated by this value, Gold number. So it is given by the definition. So here we are taking the minimum amount of protective colloid in milligrams. So we are adding in milligrams. So which when added to 10 ml of a standard gold solution. So here the gold solution is the unstable lyophobic colloid. So we are adding protective colloid, means lyophilic colloid, to the lyophobic colloid is just sufficient to prevent coagulation of gold solution on adding of 1 ml of 10% NaCl solution. So here this is the electrolyte. So this electrolyte will leads to the coagulation of gold solution. So we are preventing that coagulation by adding this protective colloid. So have you understood? So we are taking gold solution here. This is gold solution which is lyophobic in nature. Gold solution doesn't so means gold particles will not have the means solvent loving nature. So they are solvent hating. Gold particles are solvent hating. So they are unstable. And here, so in this we are adding electrolyte, sodium chloride, 10% sodium chloride. So this will be coagulated. So to prevent this coagulation, we are protecting by adding so some protective colloid in milligrams. So this amount, so how much amount is required to prevent coagulation, so is called Gold number. So this is defined as the minimum amount of protective colloid in milligrams which when added to 10 ml of a gold solution to prevent the coagulation of gold solution on addition of 1 ml of 10% NaCl solution. So here this is the destabilizing and we are stabilizing by adding protective colloid. That amount, how much amount we are adding is called Gold number. And protecting power, so this protecting power is inversely proportional to Gold number. Means if less amount of colloid, protective colloid is required to prevent coagulation, means its protecting power is high. So means protecting power is inversely proportional to Gold number. So Gold number is calculated by using the formula Gold number equal to number of milligrams of protective colloid. So how much amount of mg we are adding and by volume of gold solution in mLs into 10. So this is the formula to calculate Gold number. So for example, 20 milligrams of colloid is required to stabilize 100 ml of gold solution. So for stabilizing means for protecting 100 ml of gold solution, we require 20 milligrams of protecting colloid. So what is its Gold number? So just substitute in the formula Gold number equal to this 20 amount in mg by volume of solution in mLs 100 ml into 10, means Gold number is 2. Next topic is colloids around us. So colloids in our real life, what we can see. So most of the substances in our daily life are colloids. For example, milk, our blood. So blood is also a colloidal solution. Dust particles in the air. So that is also air in air type of colloidal solutions. So meals we eat and wooden furniture in our house, newspapers, or mainly composed of colloids. So in our daily life we can see so many substances as colloids. So if you see the blue color of the sky, so why the sky looks like blue color? So that is also reason is due to colloidal particles. So the dust particles in the atmosphere, so along with water droplets, so some water moisture is also there in the atmosphere, that water droplets and these dust particles along with water in air, they scatters the blue light. So it means they interact with the blue light and they will scattering, so means that is Tyndall effect. So they will interact with the blue light and they will splits the blue light. So that due to that scattering of blue light, so when we see the sky, that looks blue color. So this is due to dust particles and water droplets in the atmosphere. They are colloidal particles, so they will interact with the blue light. That's why the sky looks like blue color. Next, fog, mist and rain. So rain formation is also a due to a, so it is also a colloidal particles, due to colloidal particles. So during summer what happens, the water bodies, so during the summer, so this water bodies, so the water will evaporate and will form the vapor, so water vapors. So means this water vapor means water droplets, small water droplets. So these water droplets, so will absorbed in the dust particles in the atmosphere. So they settles on the dust particles and this is they will form the colloidal solution suspension. So along with dust particles, this water vapor will form the colloidal particles. So these water droplets, so when they become heavier, so they will deposited on the clouds. So they will be, these water droplets will be deposited on the clouds. So means these water droplets will become more heavier. So when they become more heavier, so they will fall due to gravitational force. So this is nothing but raining. So these particles also behaves as the colloidal particles. So this leads to the raining. And fog and mist, this is also example for colloidal solutions. So fog is due to, so during condensation, so this fog is due to condensation. So when during the winter, so the water particles, so these water particles will be condensed in the atmosphere and they will become some water droplets. So that is nothing but fog. So these are all we will see in our daily life. And soil in the earth, soil, and when we pour water, that will become colloidal solution. And blood in our body, so this is also a colloidal solution. In blood, so many particles will be there, so that solid particles are dispersed phase and water is the dispersion medium in blood solution. And food items, so in so many food items also, so means curd, butter, milk, ghee, so these are all examples for colloidal solutions. Formation of delta, so during formation of delta, the river water interact, so means it will goes to the sea water. So during river water will goes to the sea water. So during that, the formation of delta takes place. So in that place, the delta formation will takes place. How this will be formed? So the river water is nothing but soil in water, so means it is a colloidal solution. So river water is a colloidal solution, and here sea water contain the salt. So salt is nothing but electrolyte. So this electrolyte will leads to the coagulation of this river water. So these colloidal particles in river water will be coagulated or deposited due to the electrolyte present in the sea water. So that way that deposition is nothing but that is the reason to formation of delta. So this is also a colloidal particles. So due to that colloidal particles deposition, formation of delta takes place.